That's what I love about some of these cards. You get great fights, great unification fights, and I think this is going to be a good one with Gilberto Ramirez and Chris Billum-Smith, two of the top guys at the 200-pound weight limit, going at it for 2 belts.
Let's focus in on that fight, Sergio. Since losing to Bivol, we saw Zurdo move up to cruiserweight. We thought that might be a little too big for him, but he's really grown into that division. It looks like he's fighting better than he ever has right now.
No, I'm not worried about him growing into the division. I mean, he's 6'3". He's going to fill out the weight nicely. I'm really looking forward to how he's going to come to the game plan. I mean, I love the fact that Malik Scott has his fighter working his feet from that southpaw angle. Look at this big man, how nifty he is on his toes, getting the angles. I mean, they call him zurdo. That's southpaw in Spanish, but it's finally using those southpaw angles, stepping back, catching his opponents with counters like that. That's what I want to see from a big man, because remember, Todd, this is a man that won a championship at 168, moving up all the way up to 200 against a natural 200-pound fighter in Chris Smith. So, yeah, you're going to have to not stand in front of a big man like he didn't stand in front of. And he pretty much schooled a big, strong fighter in Gulamirian, and that's what I want to see come fight night.
Well, let's talk about his opponent. You call him CBS. What does he bring to the table? He is, of course, the WBO champion. Zurdo Ramirez, the WBA cruiserweight champion.
Well, he's a big man. He's a natural southpaw. I mean, he's a natural cruiserweight, so that's what I want to see. So he started his career at 200 pounds, and he's fighting like a 200-pound fighter. He's a little rough on the feet. He's a rugged fighter. That's what I'm going to call him. He's a rugged, tough fighter. He comes forward. But what I like about him, he has character, Todd. He lost the fight. He came back and took that fight against Riyadh. That's what you want to see against young, up-and-coming champions like that. Good body puncher, excellent chin. Zurdo's going to have his hands full, especially if he decides to switch it up and mix it up with this strong man right now, but I like his character.
Yeah, one thing I like about Chris Billum-Smith is he is a fighter that has had nothing handed to him. He was not a decorated amateur. He was not a sought-after young fighter as a professional. He had to earn his bona fides. He went in with Richard Riakporhe, just his 9th professional fight, took a loss, bounced back from that, became a title holder, and then avenged that defeat in his last fight. This is a man that is ready and seeking these types of challenges. I think this is going to be a terrific main event.
Well, it is Latino Night, November 16th, and one of the most famous Mexican-American fighters of all time, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, is standing by with Claudia Trejos. Obviously having some problems with Claudia's microphone. We'll go back to Oscar in just a minute as the mariachi band is standing on edge ready to perform. Hey, the fight I'm kind of most excited about is the one you mentioned about Ramirez and Barboza, two guys that have just been circling the wagons for so long. Finally, they've almost been forced to fight each other, but there's a big fight ahead for the winner for sure.
I tell you what, they have been circling each other for a while is right. Stablemates with Top Rank for years. 140-pound champions or contenders for years. Ramirez, a former unified champion at 140. Barboza, undefeated at 140 pounds, sitting up there in the #1 spot in the 140-pound rankings. These two guys have needed to fight for a while, and now they're finally doing it. And there is a little bit of bad blood between these two. There's a little bit of animosity between these two that I think is going to bring up the best of them on fight night.
And this is what I want to see. I want to see how Barboza is going to do against a former champion who's been in there with some of the best fighters at 140. Barboza is not really tested. I mean, he's fought the former champions, but he hasn't really shined on the big stage like he should. With a big fight here, I could see him getting the big names in a loaded 140 division.
Oscar Duarte's on this card. He's been lost in the shuffle, one of the guys we haven't talked about. But since losing in a fight with Ryan Garcia, that loss gets better and better the more we move away from that fight. What's on the line for him on this card?
Oh, look, another big fight, another big step in the right direction for Oscar Duarte, who has, television-friendly written all over him. Oscar Duarte in his last fight, first fighter to stop Jojo Diaz. That is a feather in the cap for Oscar Duarte. He is a strong physical guy, and whether it's at 135 pounds or 140 pounds, he has proven he can be and be good in competitive fights at that level. So this is his chance to put himself right back in the world title picture with a win on November 16th.
I like him, but he has to have a really good showing against Sims Jr. Sims Jr. has never been stopped. Excellent amateur. He fights really well outside. Good body puncher. I like tall, lanky body punchers. Against fighters like Duarte and Zepeda and any Mexican, they could take it up here, but down here is where you got to soften him up. That's what I like about Sims Jr. He digs downstairs, and he doesn't stay in front of his opponents too long to get countered back. So this is an excellent style matchup for both fighters to shine on a big stage, and the winner gets a big fight.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zepeda. He's in action against Tevin Farmer. The fight everyone is looking forward to is Shakur Stevenson, who's out with a broken hand right now. But how much trouble do you expect for him to have against Tevin Farmer, the former champion?
Listen, they're both southpaws, and anytime you have an aggressive southpaw, he doesn't get more aggressive than a buzzsaw like William Zepeda, but you're going to need a fighter like Farmer, another southpaw. Doesn't fight like a buzzsaw. He picks you from spots. He has great defense. Coming off a loss, but he was in there in that fight, so I don't really take that as something that's going to be bad. It's a southpaw versus southpaw. It's going to be a nice style matchup, but I just don't see him crossing the line against a buzzsaw like this.
You said something about flipping to bad. Claudia Trejos' microphone is back to good now, and she's standing by with Oscar.
Absolutely. Thank you, Todd. And again, the Golden Boy himself, and it's a fantastic afternoon. We're celebrating Latino Night. But let's start from the top. How has made Riyadh season boxing better?
Oh my gosh, I mean, where do I start? Riyadh season is all about making the best fights possible, right? We talk about, well, promoters getting together, my fighter against your fighter, this, that. Well, it hasn't happened in the past because, there's differences of price tags, there's differences of the networks, this, that. Well, guess what? Riyadh season brings everybody together and makes the best fights for the fans. And that's what it's all about. I'm excited for this Riyadh season Latino Nights because for the first time ever in Riyadh season, it's only one promoter because we have all the fighters. So I'm excited because we're matching up the best against the best, and it's going to be super, super exciting.
So on that note, let's talk about what this partnership means for Golden Boy, because that has been your motto since day one.
Well, the motto of mine has been, since day one. And, when I talk to promoters, when we try to make fights, it's not the promoter's fault. It's economics. It's, other things that are around it. But Riyadh season has been a blessing in disguise. And I want to thank you, Turki Al-Sheikh, Your Excellency, Dr. Rakan, and Salah Sports, because they're bringing boxing to where it should be. And that's what the fans deserve. They deserve to see the best against the best. I mean, look, Zurdo going up against, fighting for a unification. He was the first super middleweight champion of the world from Mexico ever, and now he's the first cruiserweight Mexican champion of the world, now unifying. Oscar Collazo unifying as well. You have Oscar Duarte with Sims, and I mean it's going to be an incredible card. Barbosa with Ramirez is going to be electrifying. It's maybe going to steal the show. So I really can't wait for this one.
And on that note, because you just mentioned we have two unification fights, and obviously you're bringing the best of your stable. So at this point in time, why is it so important to bring the Latino culture to Riyadh with all these Latino talent?
Because Riyadh deserves to experience the Latin flavor. They deserve it. I've been to Riyadh. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The people are warm. The people are now knowing their boxing. They know the fight game. And so to bring the best fighters who fight with heart, to bring them to Riyadh is an honor for me. So thank you again, Turkey.
And Golden Boy traditionally matches up their fighters, like you said, the best against the best. We could just say rough. You're hard. Sure. You're hard on your fighters. Now that you have Riyadh season, Riyadh as your partner, do you think that's the type of MO that you're going to follow?
Well, look, the partnership, again, is a blessing because it allows us to give the fans what they deserve. And this is what I've been preaching all along. And it's not my fault. It's not a promoter's fault from somewhere else, or that we can't make those types of fights happen. And like I said before, whether it's economics, whether it's a fighter belonging to a different platform or network, it's difficult to put something like that together. But with Riyadh and Your Excellency and Salah and Dr. Rakan, we all tend to work together. We all tend to just make the best fights happen. And it's exciting for the sport. It's exciting for anybody who's watching, and especially the fighters.
This is a must-ask question. Are we bringing La Calaca and the Mariachi to Riyadh?
We're bringing 100 calacas to Riyadh. We're bringing mariachis and folklorico dancers, and we're bringing everything. It's going to be special. It's going to be amazing. And it brings me a lot of joy, because it really does, because we're going to be able to showcase Latino. We're going to be able to showcase Mexican in Riyadh to the world. And it's free.
All right.
It is free.
On the zone.
You can watch it free. If you're a subscriber on the zone, right? It's free. This is like a pay-per-view card. It's free, but also we are talking to other distributors where it's free. You're not gonna have to pay. You're not gonna have to watch on cable. It's gonna be free.
There you go. So it's going to be free. We're going to have calacas, mariachi, tacos, Riyadh style.
We're taking tamarindos. We're taking
Oh my goodness.
everything you can think of.
You're going to take me?
We're literally gonna take. I'm thinking about it, but you should already be there.
Of course.
Yes. So
And who's taking the taco truck?
I'm probably gonna cook my special tacos, my special guacamole. So I'm excited, because this is a celebration for the world to see special fights, special matchups, and a special place like Riyadh.
There you go. There you have it. So calacas, mariachi, taco, and taco trucks. Back to
And
you,
you.
Todd. And me. Thank you.
You heard the Golden Boy right there. It's free, Todd. Free. How do you say free in Spanish?
Gratis.
Gratis. There you go.
And there's Chris Mannix, as usual, standing alone by himself. We'll get to him in just a minute. Sergio, I'm excited to see what trailer they make for Latino Night. You saw the one they just released for Bitter Biev and Bebo. You saw the one for Sweet Caroline. If you were the director of that trailer, what's your vision for Latino Night?
Wow. It'll have to be based in East LA, somewhere in an alley where there's broken bottles everywhere and graffiti on the wall, and two Mexican warriors or two Latinos in the middle in a street fight. Good old mano a mano, something along those lines. His Excellency would probably take care of it, though.
I'm in. I'm sold. We'll get His Excellency on the line and see if he wants to buy your vision. For now, we send it to the stage and kick off this press conference with Chris Mannix.
Saudi Arabia. I'm Chris Mannix, part of the DAZN broadcast team. Over the last year, we have seen some fantastic events in Riyadh, and this one should be no different. Top to bottom, just an excellent card with some excellent fights. We have some of boxing's top Hispanic fighters in action on a show headlined by an excellent cruiserweight unification fight between Gilberto Ramirez and Chris Willis-Smith. This fight will be available on DAZN. It will be available free everywhere worldwide. So no matter where you're watching this event, what platform you're watching on, it will be available for free. One of the best cards we're going to have this year, all available for free. Right now, I want to introduce the people that will be part of this event, and we'll start with the man running it. He is the former 6th Division World Champion, the Boxing Hall of Famer, the President and CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, the Golden Boy himself, Oscar De La Hoya. His business partner is a man that needs no introduction as well, the former middleweight and light heavyweight champion of the world, the Hall of Famer, the Executioner, Bernard Hopkins. Now let's bring up some of the fighters that are going to be part of this incredible card. This man has a record of 21 wins, 2 losses, and comes into this event riding an 8-fight winning streak. He is Kenneth Bossman Sims. This man is one of the toughest fighters in any of the lower weight classes. 27 wins on his resume. 22 of those wins have come by knockout. Please welcome Oscar Duarte. He is the fastest rising world champion to ever come out of the island of Puerto Rico. On November 16th, he will appear on his first title unification fight, the WBO minimum weight world champion, Oscar Collazo. This is a man that's no stranger to being in big fights. The former 130-pound champion who is 3-1 since making the move up to 135 pounds. Please welcome Tevin Farmer. This guy's one of the most exciting fighters in any weight class. The #1 contender for all 4 of the 135-pound titles, William El Camarón Zepeda. He is the undefeated #1 ranked 140-pound contender, 30 wins, no losses on his resume, Arnold Barboza Jr. This guy's a familiar name in boxing, been in so many big fights. The former unified 140-pound champion, the former U.S. Olympian, Jose Ramirez. I want to bring up the man that works closely with Chris Billam-Smith, the promoter, the founder of Boxer over in the UK, Ben Shalom. Now let's get to the guys that are fighting in this main event. Title unification fight in the cruiserweight division. He is the WBO cruiserweight champion who will be making his 3rd title defense. He is the gentleman, Chris Billam-Smith. And this man needs no introduction to the fans in Southern California. He is the former super middleweight champion who won gold at cruiserweight in just his 2nd fight at the 200-pound limit. Please welcome Gilberto Ramirez. And to speak more about all the fighters on this card, I want to bring back up the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
All right, thank you very much. Gracias. Gracias a todos por estar aquí en la noche, en la conferencia de prensa para Noche Latina. Una cartelera absolutamente llena con talento que tendrá lugar el 16 de noviembre como parte de la temporada Riyadh Season en Arabia Saudita. Gracias a su excelencia Turkey Al-Sheikh por permitir a Golden Boy ser parte de un evento tan masivo. Esta será la primera temporada de Riyadh disponible gratuitamente por streaming y The Zone transmitirá la cartelera con otros transmisores locales que serán anunciados en las próximas semanas. Cuando digo que esta cartelera está llena, eso puede ser un eufemismo. Tenemos 2 peleas de unificación de campeonatos mundiales, culminado con una gran pelea de cruceros entre Gilberto Ramírez y Chris Billam. Tenemos una pelea tremenda en la división de las 140 libras entre el ex campeón mundial de 2 veces José Ramírez y el invicto contendiente número 1 Arnold Barboza. Tenemos a un campeón mundial peleando por 3ª vez en el 2024. Tenemos al peleador más emocionante del deporte con William Zepeda. Tenemos contendientes, prospectos y muchos más. Y hoy escucharán de muchos de estos peleadores. Thank you all for being here for the kickoff press conference for Latino Night, an absolutely stacked card that will take place on November 16th as part of Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. Thank you to His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh for allowing Golden Boy to be a part of such a massive and incredible event. Latino Night will be the first Riyadh season event made available for fight fans to enjoy for free worldwide. The Zone will broadcast his blockbuster fight night for free globally with other local broadcasters to be announced shortly. When I say this card is stacked, that may be an understatement. We have 2 championship unification fights culminating with a cruiserweight barn burner between Gilberto Ramirez and Chris Billam-Smith. We have a lot of tremendous fights in the red-hot 140-pound weight division between former two-time world champion Jose Ramirez and the undefeated #1 contender Arnold Barbosa. We have a world champion fighting for the third time in 2024. We have the most exciting fighter in the sport with William Cepeda. We have contenders, prospects, and so much more. And you'll get to hear from many of these fighters today. So at this point, before we get to the fighters, I first want to introduce my partner, former two-division world champion and boxing Hall of Famer, Bernard Hopkins. Bernard.
First, let me short. This is what we asked for. This is what y'all asked for. Fans and media. Oscar said free. Come on, when the last time I got something free? Boxing, but you're getting this for free. To my left, y'all got an opportunity to shine across the world, especially the boxing world. On my right, they got a chance to do the same thing. We're gonna become spectators, and we better watch something special. So enjoy this free fight, this show. If it's home on TV or you're here, enjoy it here. I'm gonna repeat what Oscar said over a year ago. And if y'all get tired of hearing it, I definitely won't get tired of saying it. We want to bring and continue to bring and going to bring the best fights for the fans and the best fights, the best on our team, the Golden Boy Promotion. Thank you. Enjoy the fight and have fun. And don't forget to tell everyone that's going to watch it at home that it's free. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bernard. At this moment, I am super excited for this first fight. I mentioned the exciting 140-pound weight division earlier, and this bout features two guys who are right in the mix. First, we have a fighter who made up for lost time 2 months ago, giving a masterful performance on the Virgil Ortiz card and re-announcing his presence to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, with a record of 21-2 with 8 knockouts, please welcome Kenneth Bossman Sims.
How everybody doing today? Just want to thank God for getting me here again. I want to thank Golden Boy for the opportunity. Thank His Excellency. I'm just excited to be right back. It had been a long time, and this is 2 fights back to back, and that's when I'm at my best, is when I'm active. So I just appreciate Golden Boy keeping me active, and I'm ready to put on an amazing performance. Oscar Duarte is a tough opponent, so I know I got to bring my best, which I plan to do every time I step into the ring. I train every time I step into the ring like it's the last fight that I'm gonna have. So I plan to put on an amazing performance and give you guys a great show. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. This next fighter has long been a rising star in the Golden Boy stable. Following his impressive performance against Ryan Garcia, he became the first fighter to ever stop world champion Joseph Diaz earlier this year. From Chihuahua, Mexico, with a record of 27-2 with 22 knockouts, Oscar Duarte. Oscar.
Buenas tardes a todos. Estoy muy contento por esta gran oportunidad que me brinda Golden Boy, que me he ganado. Y pues feliz decirles que estoy preparándome fuerte acá en Riverside con Robert García, con todo mi equipo. Tenemos un buen rival enfrente y estoy tomando la pelea con mucha seriedad. Y este 16 de noviembre, Oscar Duarte va a brillar. Gracias por todo su apoyo y vamos a darle con todo.
All right. Gracias, Oscar. Gracias. In January, this world champion offered a challenge. He said he would defend his title 5 times in a year. If he did, I believed I promised some sort of financial incentive. I think it was like $5 million or something. This will be his third defense of 2024, and I'm sure he'll remind us what's on the line if he wins and fights again before the end of the year. I mean, I don't think there's time, but I don't think there's time, but Oscar Collazo is truly the shining star of Puerto Rican boxing. He is the man in Puerto Rican boxing. With a record of 10-0 and 7 knockouts, the WBO minimum weight world champion, Oscar Collazo. Oscar.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Bernard. I gotta thank Miguel Cotto Promotion too to give me this opportunity. Your Excellency, Turkey, to give me the opportunity to show the world what Jibarito de Villalba can do. And that's okay. I didn't get the 5 fights, but hey, you gotta give me one of my dreams to be the unified champion, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. I dreamed about this day. I talk to God every day to give me this opportunity to shine bright. Everybody don't see us minimum weight, but now I got the chance to show everybody my talents, my courage, how disciplined I am, and show the whole world I'm the face of boxing in Puerto Rico. Para mi gente de Puerto Rico, gracias a compañía Miguel Cotto, Oscar de la Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, agradecido con tanto apoyo que me ha brindado mi pueblo de Puerto Rico, a mi equipo de trabajo, Juan de León, Carlito Ortiz, Quique Negrón, mi hermano, mi familia, mi esposa, que cumple hoy, mi amor. Te mando un beso allá, felicidades. Te sabes que te amo mucho, estamos aquí cumpliendo otro sueño más. Y esto va para todos ustedes, toda mi familia, todo el equipo de Puerto Rico. El 16 de noviembre va a haber el próximo Unified Champion para todos. Gracias.
Gracias, Oscar. Thank you very much. You know, very few fighters lose their first fight and eventually become world champion. 2 of them are right here today. One is Bernard Hopkins, the legend. The other is this next fighter. Tevin Farmer has accomplished everything in the sport of boxing, including winning the IBF World Super Featherweight World Championship title and successfully defending it 4 times. And now he faces the ultimate challenge. Please welcome, with a record of 33-6 with 8 knockouts, Tevin Farmer.
First, I want to thank God for allowing me to get here on safe flight yesterday. I also want to thank Golden Boy Promotions for putting this fight together and pushing for this fight. And also, I want to thank the Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh for making this fight happen as well, and also the Zone and everybody that came out today. So, basically, thank everybody that was a part of this. But yeah, so I'm not a unfamiliar face. Y'all already know my story, so I don't really want to get into the story thing. But November 16th is going to be a hell of a fight. You know, William Cepeda, I know he's going to come to fight. This is not new to me. I done faced everybody. I've been in this game for a long time. I feel like I'm a young veteran. And the reason why I say I'm a young veteran because I started boxing late. So I still feel young, but I got a lot of fights in, so that's why I'm a veteran. And November 16th, I got to go out there and beat the boy that everyone's afraid of, and that's William Cepeda, being in the best shape of my life. And for a fact, I know this is a fight because, you know, they say, man, Shakur got similar styles. And I'm the guy that they want to see how good he do to see if he going to be ready for Shakur. But I can promise you he will not make it to Shakur. He won't make it to Shakur. So November 16th, live on the Zone, your favorite fighter is back in action. And I feel like this is a do or die for me. Last fight was a do or die for me, but it didn't go my way, unfortunately, but I feel like this time is do or die for real, and we gonna die if we have to. We coming to put on the show. So tune in November 16th, live on The Zone. This coming to you live from Golden Boy in Saudi Arabia, baby. See y'all soon.
Thank you very much, Tevin. And now, to introduce the most exciting fighter in the ring today. William Cepeda has been in the ring with former world champions and serious contenders, and the result is always the same. He's guaranteed to throw over 1,000 punches a fight. This man is the #1 contender in all 4 sanctioning bodies, meaning
He's next in line to all world champions. They can't run and they can't hide from William. It is my pleasure to introduce, with a record of 31-0, 27 knockouts, William El Camarón Cepeda.
¿Qué tal? Muy buenas tardes a todos. Primeramente, gracias por estar aquí. Me siento muy agradecido con Oscar de la Hoya, con la promotora Golden Boy por esta gran oportunidad. Sabemos que estamos en una gran cartelera con grandes peleadores. Para mí es un orgullo estar en esta noche latina donde queremos ganarnos esta pelea porque sabemos que tenemos un gran rival, un rival complicado, un rival experimentado, pero estamos trabajando muy fuerte para ello y poner en alto el nombre de México, de saber que hay grandes peleadores. Muchas gracias a todos y no se pierdan mi pelea.
First of all, thank you for everyone for being here. I'm very honored to take part in Latin Night. You know, I've got a great opponent in front of me, but one of the things I want to do is I want to give a great show and put the name of Mexico very high. So thank you very much.
Gracias, gracias, William. This next fight has a real chance to steal the show on November 16th. Arnold Barboza has spent years searching for a marquee fight to elevate him to the world championship level. And now he has it. Arnold has impressed everyone at Golden Boy since the moment we signed him, and it is my pleasure to welcome him with a record of 30-0 with 11 knockouts from right here in Los Angeles, Arnold Barboza Jr.
Man, first off, I want to thank God, for the opportunity, the blessings, the strength. I want to thank Turkey. I want to thank Oscar and Golden Boy. And man, I have so much to say, but I don't know how long I have. This is a fight that I've been wanting since 2019. First, I want to say, I respect Jose Ramirez, the fighter. I respect Jose Ramirez, the person. But this is personal. Like I said, I've been wanting this fight since 2019. For whatever reason, never happened. I tried every form. I called him out so many times. I even went as far as to sign with, Rick's not here? Sign with the same thieving manager as him, so that didn't work out. And it's crazy, I'm not with him no more, the fight happens. One thing I want to give credit and thanks to Oscar is that he's a man of his word. When I signed the Golden Boy, he said he was going to give me this fight. Like I said, this fight's personal. I'm coming with everything. I'm up in Big Barrel with my father and my team, training hard, harder than ever. And I promise you guys that, I didn't come into this new Golden Boy contract, to have the same thing happen with my last promoter. So I'm going to give this all, and I'm going to come out on top November 16th. I'll see you guys there.
All right. Wow. This next fighter really needs no introduction in the state of California. He made a name for himself in the Central Valley with his aggressive style and legions of loyal fans. He is a former unified world champion who will now travel halfway around the world to take his next step towards regaining his belts. With a record of 29-1, 18 knockouts from Avenal, California, Jose Ramirez.
Good afternoon. First and foremost, I want to thank God, my family, and my team, including Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, the whole Golden Boys family, and Turkey, Al-Sheikh, from Riyadh season for finding interest to making this Latino night out there in Saudi Arabia. It's not my first rodeo fighting international. As an Olympian, as an amateur, I went all over the world fighting the best fighters in the world. And as a professional, I got to travel to Macau, China, and fought. And it's a great fight, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's time for me to make a statement, and this is one of those fights that I'm not going to make a statement and get those belts back. You know, I'm ready for this mentally. You know, I've been under the lights, the big lights, and I have the experience and I have the strength. I think my biggest enemy in the sport of boxing was my inactivity. So, you know, the last time I fought twice was in 2019, and that's when I successfully defended my WBC and unified titles, knocking out Maurice Zucker in 2019. So the goal was always to become undisputed, which I got there. You know, I know Arnold Barboza saying he's been chasing the fight for 2019, but you know, when you become a champion, you got mandatories, and then you look forward to unifying titles and fighting for undisputed. That's everybody's goals. So I got busy. Now that he stands on the way for me to, you know, reclaim my titles, and then it's time to get that fight on, you know, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and it's going to be a great show. I think it's going to be one of the fights that will get everybody out there in Saudi Arabia excited about boxing. So thank you. Muchas gracias a todos los que me han apoyado. Muchas gracias a Diosito, a mi familia, a mi equipo por la oportunidad. Me siento emocionado, la verdad, y contento. Vamos este 16 de noviembre con todo menos miedo. Y esta no será mi primera pelea bajo las luces grandes. Es tiempo de captar esos títulos en las 140 libras y volver a ser el mejor boxeador de las 140 libras. Muchas gracias y Diosito los bendiga.
All right. I want to take this time to personally thank Your Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Now, I want to remind you that the reason why these fights are happening, the reason why these big fights are taking place all over the world is because Your Excellency Salas Sports is making it happen. I've always talked about promoter, working with promoters, and making the best fights happen. For some certain reasons, you know, there's times where we cannot work together. You know, it doesn't make financial sense. You know, and the fight fans are the ones that are missing out. So to have somebody like Turki, Your Excellency, Salas Sports, come together, team up with Golden Boy, and take Latino Night to Riyadh season is literally a dream come true for us, because we're gonna give Riyadh season a Latino taste of what it's like to be happy, to be festive, and to have great fights that the fans around the world are gonna be able to watch for free. They're not just live on the zone if you're a subscriber. No, we're gonna give out these fights for free to different network partners, to broadcasters all over the world. You will watch this fight for free. So thank you very much, Turki. We really appreciate that. All right, before we get to the main event fighters, I would like to introduce the founder of Boxer, Ben Shalom, who represents the WBO Cruiserweight champion, Chris Billiam Smith. Please come up and say a few words. Ben.
Wow, what a special occasion this is. Thank you to Oscar, Latino Night. Thank you to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. What he's done for boxing in my country and over here is incredible. But this story for me is about an underdog story. This is about hard work and dedication. Chris Billiam Smith has become a superstar in British boxing from nowhere. At one point, around European level, many people counted him out. Many people didn't think he would get to world level. We invested in him. We built one of the stars in British boxing. He sold out stadiums over there. He started off in Bournemouth. He fought Isaac Chamberlain, went on to Omar Jojai, and then beat Lawrence and Coley. At the time, a man in the cruiserweight division that no one believed they could beat. After that, Master Nat. After that, Richard Riakporhe, the most feared puncher in the division. He's got the best resume now in the whole of the division. This is Latino Night. I'm very excited for it. But believe me, you've made a mistake here, Oscar. This is Chris Billam-Smith's time to pick up another belt. It's going to be a fantastic night on November 16th. This is a fantastic fight. And as Oscar said, without the help of Turki Al-Sheikh, without the help of him getting promoters together, making the biggest fights, we wouldn't get this opportunity. And for it to be free is unprecedented. I can't wait for November 16th. Good luck, Zerda. Good luck, Oscar. And we're coming.
Thank you very much, Ben. And now the main event. This first fighter hasn't lost in 5 years and is coming off a fight where he avenged that only loss. Taking his opponent's undefeated record in the process, Chris Billam-Smith has an enormous amount of momentum coming into this bout, and a victory will crown him unified world champion with a record of 20-1 with 13 knockouts, the WBO World Cruiserweight Champion from the UK, Chris Billam-Smith.
Hello everyone, muchas gracias. Unfortunately, that's as far as my Spanish goes. I'd like to thank Oscar, Golden Boy, Ben Shalom, Boxer, my team, and Turki Al-Sheikh for this opportunity. This, for me, is huge. It's a unification. Like Ben spoke about, I've been written off many times before. Last time out against Richard Riakporhe, I was going into his backyard, his soccer stadium, and it was all about him, and it was his night. And I went and spoiled the party, and unfortunately, for the Latinos on November 16th, I'll be doing exactly the same again. All respect to Zerdo, and see you on fight night. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chris. You know, when we talk about Latino Night, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez is a shining example of the best Latino fighters in the world. He was the first Mexican to ever hold a super middleweight world championship belt. Now, he is the first Mexican to hold a world championship belt in the cruiserweight division. He has taken all comers, regardless of his weight class, and that continues as he tries to become a unified world champion on November 16th. With an incredible record of 46-1 with 30 knockouts from Sinaloa, Mexico, the WBA World Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez.
Hola, ¿qué tal a todos? Buenas tardes, estoy muy contento de estar aquí. Primero que nada, quiero agradecer a Dios por la gran oportunidad que me bendice, a Golden Boy, Riyadh Season. Estoy muy contento de estar aquí en esta, pues va a ser una bonita noche para mí, 16 de noviembre, primer mexicano unificando los títulos y convirtiéndose en el primer mexicano unificado en las 200 libras, entonces es algo que lo he venido soñando desde hace mucho. Estoy muy contento de estar aquí, gracias a todos, gracias por la oportunidad que se me presenta y pues viva México, cabrones, no hay más. Thank you everyone, thank you for being here. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be a part of the Latino Night, and I will become the first Mexican Cruiserweight Unified Champion. And it's exciting because my dream will come true this November 16th, and I've been putting everything in the training, a lot of hard work, and thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gilberto. Thank you, Oscar. We're going to face these guys off in just a couple of minutes, but a few questions first for a few of the guys here on the dais. I want to start with the men in the co-main event, Arnold and Jose. I think a lot of people who heard this fight being made wondered, what took so long, right? Like, you guys were stablemates for a long time. As you mentioned, you had the same manager for a long time. Arnold, why now are you two just getting in the ring?
Man, that's a good question. That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to say, you know, oh, he had mandatories and he had this and that, but at the end of his contract with Top Rank, you know, at the end of my contract, you know, he fought Comey, I fought Pedraza. Like, he fought a month after. We could have got it on right there. You know, like I said, you know, I came to Golden Boy because I wanted to start like a fresh start, you know what I mean? And then the day I fight and debut on Golden Boy, he gets announced and he's, you know, on the TV. So I'm like, nah, fuck that. This is not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna go through what I went through with Top Rank again. So I'm gonna take what is mine. I'm gonna take, you know, it's not just me, you know, Barbosa versus Ramirez. You know, this is me against everyone who doubted me. This is me against everyone that said that he will beat me. This is me against my team versus his team. This means a lot to me. It's me and it's me against that fucking manager, Rick.
Jose, certainly suggesting that you didn't want this fight against him for years. How do you see it?
Yeah, you know, half of what he said, you know, I'm not too aware, you know, but you know, I just, as a fighter, I fight whoever's in front of me, you know, and you know, when I came to Golden Boy, you know, that's because I wanted the bigger fights. You know, Top Rank, they was definitely slowing down, and you know, I'm not sure why Honor Barbosa never got those big fights on the Top Rank. But this is my second fight with Golden Boy, and I accepted the fight against Honor Barbosa. As a matter of fact, I pushed Rick to get that fight done in my end. So that's how I know, man. You know, I don't get too much into the business or too much of why promoters work a certain way. You know, it's not my fault what Top Rank or Honor Barbosa's team do with them. You know, I focus on my career, and right now, my goal is to get those world titles back. And he's one step closer to accomplishing that. You know, and that's where I'm at.
Arnold, you said you respected Jose, but you did say this fight was personal for you. Why?
Man, like I said, it's personal on so many levels for me. You know, like I spent the last, you know, man, 5 years? You know, I've been with Top Rank. I was with Top Rank for 8. He was around the same time, but I spent the last 5, you know, just kind of getting treated like the stepchild, you know, like I was just, you know, watching Ramirez get, you know, the main events, watching him get, you know, the big fights, watching him get promoted, right, you know, and I'm over here scratching, clawing, you know, banging on the door, you know, fighting these ranked guys, you know, like everyone I fought in my last 5 fights, you know, it's people in the top, you know, 5, top 8, you know, and been, you know, WBO #1 for about 1.5 years, and man, it's crazy because, you know, when he had the belts and he never wanted to give me the opportunity. And maybe it's not him because I know Ramirez ain't scared of nobody, you know what I mean? But it's his manager, you know what I mean? And now, you know, that I'm not signed with them, hey, look, the fight got made, you know, wow, the magic, you know what I mean? So now that we ain't got, you know, someone pulling the strings, you know what I mean, we can get it on.
Jose, you've picked up some wins over the last few years, but you said this is the fight that people are going to realize that Jose Ramirez is back. Why do you think that?
Yeah, you know, like I said, you know, I respect Honor Barbosa as a fighter, and I think this is one of the fights that excites me. You know, it motivates me to push hard and, you know, and to show who Jose Ramirez is. You know, when I was a WBC World Champion, I fought Victor Postol, who was my mandatory, and then the next fight, I fought for the undisputed. You know, so that's my resume. You know, it's not like I don't remember him being the #1 spot in the WBO when I had the WBO. And since he's been ranked #1 in the WBO, I'm not sure why he hasn't fought Teofimo Lopez. You know, again, I have no control over his career. But right now, you know, me to take that #1 spot and go after and challenge Teofimo Lopez. That's what I have to do. You know. My goal is to become a world champion, and I'm gonna work hard to accomplish that.
Well, I think no matter how it happened, I think everybody's excited you two guys are going to get in the ring on November 16th. Chris, after your last fight, you said you wanted to fight in America. Well, you're here in America, but then you got to go straight back to Saudi Arabia on November 16th. Why was this the right fight for you right now?
He's a champion ready now. We wanted unifications. I wished him good luck before the Goulamirian fight, and I was rooting for him that night. I think stylistically it makes a fantastic fight. We might respect each other now, but on fight night, if you've seen both of us fight, it's a fight you cannot miss. And that kind of fight really excites me.
Zurdo picked up a world title in just his second fight at cruiserweight. What did you think of that fight, and what do you think you can do differently than Goulamirian?
Yeah, it was a great performance from Zurdo. I'm a different fighter. I'm better than Gulamiran in many areas, and just the speed and intensity of me at this weight causes all cruiserweights a lot of problem. I believe I'm #1 in the world, and November 16th I get to prove that again.
Well, Gilberto, you came up just short at light heavyweight for that world title, but it only took you 2 fights to get gold in the cruiserweight division. How different did you feel at that new weight?
Well, I feel great right now because obviously I walk around, it's my body weight, and I mean, I've been training so hard, but I feel like this is my division.
This man messaged you before your fight against Gulamiran. Were you surprised to hear from another title holder wishing you luck?
Yeah, I was really surprised. And thank God he sent me a message because, and then I was like, oh, let's do the unification. Now we can do it. And November 16, everyone will see a really exciting fight, Latino Night. And I think that we're going to put a great show, and I will become undisputed.
This guy's been a career-long cruiserweight. What advantages do you think you have over him in this fight?
But I don't think he has any advantage of me because obviously I'm the best cruiserweight. He thinks he's the best cruiserweight. I think we're going to put a great show.
Chris, you have been a cruiserweight for your entire professional career. Is that an advantage for you against a guy that's a big guy, but only fighting for the 3rd time in your weight class?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would be the same in any weight division. I think I've really filled out into the weight during my career. It's the perfect weight for me. Literally 200 pounds couldn't be a pound more or a pound less. That is the perfect weight for me, and I look forward to proving it.
I think it's going to be a terrific fight between 2 great title holders in the cruiserweight division. We're going to pose these guys for photos in just a minute, but I want to bring back Oscar for a few closing thoughts.
All right, no, thank you very much. And once again, I want to remind the whole world that it's not hate if you're only speaking the facts. We'll now pose the fighters for pictures. Thank you very much.
So the mariachis have ripped into Rocky Balboa songs as we get our main event stare down between Gilberto Ramirez and CBS. I was very impressed by what the British boxer had to say.
No, very classy gentleman, and he's a hell of a fighter. I mean, both these guys are world champions. They got to this level. This is an excellent unification. See who's one of the best at 200 pounds. Yeah, man, I really like it. I mean, this whole card, top to bottom, is stacked, but this is the way. This is what you want in the main event: 2 evenly matched fighters.
Chris Mannix is off the stage and now joins us here on our studio. What were your takeaways from what you heard from these 2 guys?
Look, very respectful. Both these guys very familiar with each other's games. I love the fact that Willem Smith wished Zurdo Ramirez good luck prior to the fight. He had some trouble getting a fight made between himself and Arslan Gulamiran, so he was hoping for this exact outcome to happen, where Zurdo wins, and in his very next fight, he gets into a title unification fight. I've spent some time around Chris Willem Smith today. He is as confident as you possibly can be. This is a guy that's had to really work for it throughout his career, was not handed anything as a cruiserweight, worked his way up, won a world title, and now he's in a position to win 2 pieces of that belt.
We hear the phrase stacked card thrown around all the time, but when it comes to these Riyadh season cards, they just don't miss from start to finish, do they, Sergio?
No, and that's what you want to see. And like Oscar De La Hoya touched on the day is, you know, it takes a lot of promoters working together. And obviously it takes a big wallet too. You know, these fighters got to get paid. These are the fights that we all want to see, but, you know, the fighters want to get, we're prize fighters, Todd. We fight for prizes, big prizes. And the fact that there's so much money in the pot for everyone to share, that's the reason we have these mega events for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. Really, from the very beginning, you've got fights that could be main event type of fights. We've seen William Zepeda as a main event for his last few fights, one of the most exciting fighters in all of boxing. I'm fascinated by that fight because, look, Tevin Farmer exposed a little secret there that, yes, they are viewing him at Golden Boy as sort of a facsimile of Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson already on the books to fight William Zepeda next year. So Tevin Farmer knows this is it for him. He lost his last fight against Raymond Murataya. Now it is win or go home, and he believes he can pull up the upset.
Sergio, you put on some muscle lately. You weigh almost 200 pounds now. Would you get in there with Zurdo Ramirez?
No way, man. That's a legitimate 200-pound fighter. Mind you, he's 6'3", Todd. I'm barely hitting the 6 foot level, but he has wide shoulders. He filled in the weight nicely. Look, that's a career middleweight in CBS and Billum Smith. Career 200-pound fighter plus, and Zurdo actually looks just as big, if not bigger, than that man right now.
Yeah, so much on the line for both these guys as well. Not only would the winner become the unified champion, but you've heard comments from Jai Apataya recently saying, hey, I want the winner of that fight, whether it's in Saudi Arabia or somewhere else. So not only are 2 titles on the line, but potential big pot of gold for both those men.
And you talk about something on the line. Barboza Jr. just seems like his whole career's on the line. He has put so much behind this particular fight. This almost seems like it's worth a world title to him just to be able to face, finally, Jose Ramirez.
No, look, he's beaten world title challengers, but he's dealing with a former world champion. Another one that he's facing. Both these guys have good resumes, but Ramirez has the resume factor. He's an ex-Olympian. What a feather on that man's cap if he can beat a hell of a fighter like Ramirez on this stage.
True crossroads fight between both those men. You heard Barboza up there on the stage. He feels like he has been mistreated when compared to Ramirez over the years. Both these men, longtime stablemates with Top Rank. This is his opportunity to be the spoiler here and put himself in the position that Jose Ramirez has been in for years.
Next up, it'll be William Zepeda and Tevin Farmer. And if you look up and down this card and you're looking for an upset to pick, would this be one? Do you think Tevin Farmer can do it one more time and beat the all-offense William Zepeda?
You know what? Southpaw versus Southpaw. A slick Southpaw and Farmer, an aggressive, Southpaw and Zepeda who throws 1,000 punches in a fight. This is the type of fight where we're going to see what Farmer has left. He's coming off a loss, so that is not a good look. But it was a good fight against an undefeated opponent. This is going to be do or die for him. That we're going to find out. So all of us are going to find out. Southpaw versus Southpaw, I'm going to edge out Zepeda, but you never know.
To beat Zepeda, you've got to throw with Zepeda, and we have not seen an opponent up to this point throw punches with him. I think that Tevin Farmer could have some success defensively, but offensively, you've got to find a way to match the output, and I don't know if he can do it.
Oscar Duarte on the right of your screen, taking on Sims Jr. Duarte just seems to, even though he had that minor setback to Ryan Garcia, it seems like the path is there for him, Chris, to really make a name for himself, especially here at Golden Boy.
Yeah, this is Oscar Duarte's chance to put himself back in the world title picture, either at 135 or 140 pounds. But he does have a very tough opponent in front of him in Kenneth Sims. Sergio, you made a great point at the top of the show that Kenneth Sims' body punching, I think, could be a big factor in this fight. You're not going to go punch for punch to the head with Oscar Duarte, but you can slow him down with a body attack.
No, and Sims has the amateur background as well. He's never been knocked out. Neither of these guys been knocked out. But the body punching, the tall, lanky power that he has, the experience. No, if there's going to be an upset, and I hate to say it right now, but if there's going to be an upset, that's probably going to be it right now. I'm a big fan of Oscar Duarte, but I really like the stylistic matchup between Sims Jr.
Okay. William Zepeda is glad that you didn't pick Tevin Farmer as your upset because he's standing by right now with Claudia Trejos.
Todd, yeah, specifically right here with El Camarón, the shrimp. Tevin Farmer had serious words about your fight. What are your thoughts on him saying he's going to regain his path back to not just winning, but to a championship?
Tevin Farmer tuvo palabras bastante grandes hacia ti diciendo que no solo te iba a ganar, pero que lo iba a hacer de una forma que iba a recobrar también sus títulos.
Bueno, pues siempre mencionan eso mis rivales, que van a ganar una forma y que ellos tienen un pensamiento del camarón, pero ya es muy diferente cuando tienen un camarón enfrente que se mueve, que tira golpes. Entonces vamos a ver este 16 de noviembre, a ver si es cierto que lo sostiene en la pelea.
Well, all my opponents say the same thing, that they're going to do a certain thing and they're going to fight a certain way, and they think, some way of El Camarón. But we're going to see November 16th if he can move, if he can punch, if he can do the things that he says he's going to do once I step in front of him.
Well, there's a lot of pressure going into Riyadh because obviously 4 of his last fights have been won by knockout, and obviously he's representing the legacy of Mexican boxing. How does that feel and what does that mean to you?
Obviamente hay mucha presión porque has ganado 4 de tus últimas 5 peleas por nocaut. Entrando a Riyadh, la gente te quiere ver. ¿Cómo crees tú que es la presión que está sobre ti, especialmente porque estás representando a México?
Bueno, pues no tengo, la verdad, no siento ninguna presión. Al contrario, yo estoy haciendo mi trabajo, me estoy preparando para hacer una gran pelea. Yo quiero sacar esta pelea pues, con una victoria, pero más que nada me gustaría estar todos los rounds con él para irme llenando de más cualidades, porque sabemos que vienen grandes peleas y el estar enfrente con un oponente como lo es Farmer, con lo experimentado que es, entonces creo que me serviría mucho para llegar muy bien preparado a las peleas que siguen.
Well, obviously, you know, there's not a lot of pressure on me, but, you know, it's going to be a great fight, especially with someone with the class of a Tevin Farmer. You know, I like to be in there with him for several rounds, more rounds than usual, because that's the way that I'm going to be able to learn, and especially for the fights coming up.
There's been a lot of talk about you fighting Shakur Stevenson. Even Tevin Farmer named it today, named this fighter, and he says he's going to damage your party. What is it that you need to do on November 16th to make sure you get a chance to fight somebody like Shakur Stevenson?
Obviamente se ha mencionado mucho el nombre de Shakur Stevenson, inclusive Tevin Farmer lo mencionó esta noche, pero dice que te va a estropear la fiesta. ¿Qué es lo que tienes que hacer para asegurarte de que esa pelea sí se da en el futuro?
Bueno, pues lo que he estado haciendo siempre, concentrarme en la pelea que viene, estar trabajando fuerte como lo estoy haciendo para esta pelea. Sabemos que no es cualquier rival Tevin Farmer, que él viene con todos los ánimos, con esa intención de estropearnos los planes, pero no, nosotros estamos concentrados, trabajando fuerte y vamos a pasar este compromiso y después posteriormente vamos a ver qué es lo que sigue.
Well, you know, I do what I do every time, and that's concentrate on the fight at hand. You know, I know that Tevin Farmer is a fighter that is coming with bad intentions. Obviously, he wants to ruin my plans, and I know that he's a great fighter, but I'm doing my job. I'm working hard, and on November 16th, we're going to do the same thing so things like this can keep on happening in the future.
And we know that right now he has another motivation. He just became a dad on September 3rd, so congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you fight. Back to you, Todd.
Thank you, Claudia. And now we're going 4 wide here on stage as we've got Chris Mannix to my right, Sergio Mora also to my right, and then to the left, the WBA Cruiserweight Champion of the world, Zurdo Ramirez. How does it feel that you are basically representing all of the Latino world because you're in the main event for this Latino card? You're what? El Mero Latino. That's how you say it? El Mero Latino.
El Mero Chingon. I feel great. I feel great. I mean, it's such a pleasure for me to be in the main event in this Latino night and then represent the Latino people and Mexican people too. It's a pleasure for me.
Gilberto, you filled out the weight really nice. I mean, you look like a cruiserweight right now. I always tell everyone that you have the wide shoulders, you have the height. Is he much bigger than you now that you sized up?
I think we're the same height. The same height.
How about size and mass?
Yeah, and I think we're the same. And I think it will be a really good fight, and I'm really excited for that. And because I want the belt, he won my belt, and we're going to put a great show for all the Latino people.
Gilberto, you were so big at 168 and 175 pounds. You sometimes would rehydrate to 200 pounds. You were big getting in the ring. You were able to use that size really well at those smaller weight classes. Fighting in this cruiserweight division, do you find yourself having to fight differently, or can you be the same guy you were at 68 and 75?
Well, I think I can be the same guy fighting there because I had a lot of movement, a lot of footwork, and now I feel I'm stronger and faster than them. And because sometimes they try to look just one punch and that's it. Me, I like to go back and forth, and I mean inside, outside, and I like to manage the distance too. And I mean, I like this body weight.
Did you? Sorry, Todd. Let me follow up with that. Did you learn something from the Dimitri Bivol fight? Like Dimitri Bivol used great footwork against you. That was part of the reason I thought he had a lot of success. Did you learn the value of that, of having great footwork in a fight like that?
Yeah, I learned a lot in that fight because obviously he gave me a loss and he hurt me a lot, my ego. But now I think he gonna do well in his fight, and And I mean, I don't have nothing to him. He's a great champion, but I was passing a bad time when I fought him. And now I think this is my time and this is my right moment. And I mean, it's so exciting.
Yeah, the Dimitri Bivol fight, a lot of people go back to. I think many thought that would kind of be your fall from grace. You'd slowly start to maybe fade away. You'd not be motivated anymore. But since then, I think Sergio would agree. You look better than ever. You've improved since then. You look as good as you've ever looked. What was the turning point for you after that loss where you decided to not pack your bag and go home, but decide to turn your focus on the boxing even more?
Because I start focusing on myself, and I find myself because I think I lost myself before the Dimitri Bivol fight, and then he gave me the loss, and I was like down deep in the ocean, and I find myself, and then I was like, well, I need to get up, I need to do anything I can do, and I need to prove myself that I'm the best. And that's what I'm doing now.
That's what you're doing on a different weight class in 200. But what I really like, Zurdo, is the fact that you confide in your team. I think you have an excellent team. They bring a great strategy. Malik Scott, Julian Shua, they're perfect people in your corner. But it takes a sponge to absorb all that. Do you like the new footwork they're teaching, the style? Them teaching you how to fight like a zurdo, more like a southpaw.
Well, yeah, I like it. I like it because they're really smart. They do the strategy. Julian Chua is always he's looking into the fighters, looking too many fighters, too many fights, and he give me every talk. He give me the plan, and even me is just a fighter, I say. And sometimes people they think I know a lot from boxing, but sometimes I don't think. I don't know nothing. I say. Yeah,
right.
But I love it, yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you over in Riyadh in November. He is the WBA Cruiserweight Champion of the world, Zurdo Ramirez. His opponent is standing by with Claudia Trejos.
Thank you, Todd. Yes, I was just having this quick chat with Chris. There's so much respect. I don't understand. There's no trash talking, nothing. Why is there so much respect between you guys?
We both know what we're both capable of. We're just not those type of characters, but we leave all our talking for the ring, and I think don't let the amount of respect outside the ring, put you off what's going to be a phenomenal fight.
With that being said, what actually motivated you to just reach out over social media of all places to say, hey, listen, I'm rooting for you? What was inside of your soul? Share with us.
I want to unify a division, and we tried before in terms of fighting Gulamirian. And he had been really inactive for his career, so it kind of, you don't want an inactive champion when you're trying to chase one. Zurdo is a fighter's fighter. He likes to fight, wins that belt, and then I knew he'd be up for a unification. So I was rooting for him, and I'm glad he done the job. Fighter's
fighter. That is so true. When you have two fighters that are somewhat quiet, very low key, there's that button that goes off once you guys step into the ring, and there's that particular moment that you go, okay, this is for all the marbles. When is that moment for you?
Getting my hands wrapped. After my hands are wrapped, just flick that switch. And it's kind of when the gentleman leaves the room. So then it just becomes, it's become a savage.
Real quick, now you're going to be celebrating Latino Night in Riyadh. You being an Englishman, how does that feel?
It's an honor. It really is. The Latinos have some phenomenal fighters over the years, and I appreciate it's a Latino night, but unfortunately I'm going to have to spoil the party.
Well, we're looking forward to the party. Thank you very much for joining us. Back to you, Tom.
He wants to crush the fiesta, Sergio, in Riyadh. And we will be there live November the 16th. All right, guys, we're going to put a button on this thing. Which fight are you most excited to see? We'll start with you, Chris.
I got to go with the main event. I love title unification fights, and styles tend to make fights. I think these two styles mesh brilliantly. I was asking Chris Billum-Smith this morning, hey, how do you feel about the fact that Zurdo is probably going to press the action? He's probably going to be there right in front of you. He looks at me and goes, have you been watching my fights? That's exactly how I want to fight. I think that is going to be the best fight of the night.
Barboza Ramirez for me. Ramirez, an Olympian, a U.S. Olympian, a former champion, but he's been vulnerable. You know, I think he's war-torn. Arnold Barboza, you know, he hasn't really looked that spectacular, but he has a spectacular record. I think this is a moment where he's going to want to be spectacular on the big stage.
I got to agree with you, Sergio. I love it when a fight feels real. You know, when you're like, I guarantee you, if they cleared everybody out of this place right now and told Arnold Barboza, you could fight Jose Ramirez right here for free right now, I bet he'd do it. He has that much animosity, not so much towards Jose Ramirez, but animosity towards the fact that he hasn't been able to face Jose Ramirez for this long. Feels like a stepchild, he said today. Can't wait to see those two square off in Riyadh. That's coming your way in November. Well, that'll do it for us from here for now. We'll see you next week live from Riyadh. The best fight you can make in all of boxing. It's Bivol versus Bitter Biev.
Legend tells, at the peak of the highest mountain, there lay dormant for thousands of years a mystical crown with the power to rule all of mankind. Lusted by men, willing to die for its gift. While two emerged undefeated, there could be only one possible outcome. For one to wield the power to rule them all.